This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with more Hakuōki, Stories of the Shinsengumi. In the last episode, we did some dark and terrible things. We finally finished off our rival Ito, who originally was going to plan to kill us and our kind, so he struck back first. And it's still weighing heavily on our heads. But I must move on, as we are soldiers of the shogunate, except for the main character, who's still hanging around, who still hasn't found her father, who knows she's a demon, and all this other crazy stuff, but whatever, let's keep continuing and see like what happens in the it's not the final episode, but it's like we are starting the final chapter of this main storyline before it branches off into the specific endings, scenes and stuff like that. So I'll still probably be a couple episodes, but anyway, let's get back to it. Scarcely a month had passed since Aburano Koji, Saito and Hisuke had returned, but the Shinsengumi was hardly back to normal. A dark, tense atmosphere pervaded the compound. Many men had lost their lives in Kazuma's attack. Even more had been injured during the attack of Aburano Koji. Among them was Hisuke. Several of the rank-and-file soldiers had seen him mortally wounded. He had looked as if he would not survive. For that reason, Hisuke was declared officially dead and made a member of the Fury Corps. Hisuke Todo, 3. He survived the Aburano Koji incident by becoming a Fury and rejoined the Shinsengumi. The official record showed him as deceased. Saito had been wounded, but among the common soldiers began to call him a coward. To them, he had left the Shinsengumi to join Ito, then betrayed his new master when he sensed a change in fortunes. I saw no reason why he shouldn't set them straight and say that he never truly left the Shinsengumi, but he claimed he would rather stay silent than tarnish the honor of the commander and the chief who had ordered his actions. As such, it was decided that Saito would leave the compound until tempers had been allowed to cool. He was sent to stay at Tenma in order to protect Kyutaro Miru, an official at the Kishu domain. The night of the Battle of Aburano Koji was a turning point for the Shinsengumi. For the men who didn't know the details, it was simply a battle against their former comrades, the guardians of the Imperial Tomb. Those better informed knew that the situation with the Satsuma and Chozu domain had changed, and that the assassination of Ryomo Sakamoto had been part of a much larger plan. Only the heads of the Shinsengumi knew the whole story, the activities of the demons, and Hisuke's transformation into a Fury. They were also the only ones who knew that Okuta's illness had gotten worse. Such an important battle had stirred up the atmosphere in the compound, and for several days there were excited men everywhere shouting and talking. Moments of silence were few and far between. I felt I would only be in the way if I was wandering around the grounds, so I did my best to stay in my room by myself. When had everything gone so wrong? Why had all this happened? I turned those questions over and over in my mind, but found no answers.
部屋にいてくれましたか。外に出ていたらさすがに探しには行けませんから。よかった。
Ah, thank goodness you're here. If you'd gone out, I wouldn't have been able to look for you. Sanon, but it's daytime. Are you sure you're all right?
これはまさに典型。これほどの妙案が思い浮かんでは、ゆっくり寝ていることなどできませんよ。
Yes, I just had a revelation. I couldn't possibly stay in bed. His eyes glittered with something. Even though he was smiling, I could feel the fingers of dread beginning to poke at the base of my spine.
どうです。私の考えを聞いていただけますか。
Well, will you listen to my idea? It didn't really seem like a question, but I nodded anyway.
あなたは鬼です。
You're a demon! Way to rub it in there, a-hole. The words were sudden and unexpected.
そして鬼たちは戦闘力も生命力も人間よりはるかに強い。
And as a demon, you are stronger, faster, and more resilient than a human.
それは先日我々を襲撃した鬼たちの力を思い起こすまでもないことです。
Demonic superiority was displayed quite clearly by those demons who attacked us just the other night. What are you trying to say?
その強い力を持つ鬼。
A demon possesses immense power.
その鬼に流れる血はやはり人の血よりも強い力を持っているのではないでしょうか。
It follows that the blood which flows through demons' veins should be similarly powerful.
あるいは羅刹の狂気を完全に抑える力があるかもしれません。
Perhaps he is even potent enough to completely counteract the madness of the Furies. I didn't know how the water of life worked, but Sandon's explanation seemed logical, even though it was a bit manic. How can you know that for sure?
自らが羅刹となる前から、そして羅刹となってからも、薬についてずっと研究をしてきたのは私です。
Since before becoming a Fury, I'd been researching how the water of life works. I know more about it than anyone else here.
その私がたどり着いたこの考えが間違っているはずはないでしょう。
How could I be wrong then?
少なくとも試してみる価値はあるはずです。
In any event, I believe it's worth testing.
この仮説が正しいことが証明されれば、それはとても素晴らしいことなのですから。
If I am correct, oh, it would be wonderful.
あなたの存在で我々すべて、羅刹隊、いや新選組のすべてを救うことができるのですよ。
Your very existence could save the Fury Corps. No, the entire Shinsengumi. Wait. Sandon's eyes had grown painfully sharp, and I almost thought I could hear the barest edge of madness to his voice.
さあ。
Now! Calmly and purposely, he drew his sword from its scabbard. There was no madness or bloodlust to his movements, and that only made them all the more terrifying.
怖がらなくていいですよ。私は何もあなたを殺そうというのではない。
Oh, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm not going to kill you or anything.
ただほんの少し血を分けてもらえるだけで良いのです。
I just want a small sample of your blood, that's all. I took a step back. 2. Sandon and his sword came closer. He lifted it, and the steel blade shimmered in the light. I closed my eyes.
何やってんだ、三男さん。
What is this, Sandon?
ああ、土方くん。ちょうどよかった。君も手伝ってください。
Ah, Hijikata! Excellent timing. Please give me a hand here. Hijikata? Hijikata walked slowly towards us, his hand drifting near the hilt of his sword. With calm purpose, he stepped between Sandon and I.
邪魔をするんですか。これは我々新選組にとって大きな一歩になるかもしれないんですよ。
What are you doing? This could be a great breakthrough for the Shinsengumi.
もう一度聞く。何やってんだ、三男さん。
This is the last time, Sandon. What are you doing?
タイのために。羅刹の狂気を抑える方法を探っているんですよ。
Sorry about that, folks. Forgot to turn my phone off. I'm searching for a way to treat the madness of the Furies for the good of the Shinsengumi.
そのためにこいつを切るってのか。
And that means you have to cut her.
殺しはしませんよ。血を分けていただくだけです。
You know, all you have to do is like prick her finger and get some blood. You don't need to like cut her with this blade. You could get a small knife and go dink. I'm not gonna kill her. I only need a little of her blood. The room was thick with tension, and I sensed no hatred from either Sandon or Hijikata.
多くの羅刹を失いました。羅刹でない一般の大使も同じく。
We've lost so many of the Furies. Many of our human soldiers have fallen as well.
今いる羅刹やこれから増やす羅刹をより有効に活用するには、狂気を抑える術を見出しておくことが必要不可欠です。
If we are to effectively utilize the Furies we have left, as well as the ones we are about to create, then we must find a way to temper this madness.
そして羅刹を活用しなければ、今後の戦いは新選組にとってますます厳しいものとなる。
If we abandon the Furies and what they offer, then future battles will only become more difficult. More of our men will die.
私のしていることはすべて新選組のため。聡明な土方君にはお分かりいただけるでしょう。
Everything I do for the Shinsengumi. I know you for intelligent man, Hijikata. Surely you understand.
それでもなお、雪村君には一滴の血も流させないと。
And yet you won't allow Yukimura to share her blood?
俺はそういうことを言ってるんじゃねえ。
That's not what I mean.
ほう？
三男さん、総長ともあろう者が大気を破るつもりかい。
Senin, you are a colonel of the Shinsengumi. Are you really ready to break the code? The code. Shinsengumi regulations that were to be strictly obeyed. It doesn't tell us what it is, but okay.
知らねえはずはねえだろ。
The code says we don't fight each other for any reason. You haven't forgotten, have you?
ああ、なるほど。しかし雪村君は大使ではありませんが、それでもです。
Of course. Dang it. Of course. However, Yukimura is not technically a member of the Shinsengumi.
大使じゃねえがずっとここにいるんだ。似たようなもんだろうが。
Maybe not, but she's been here long enough. She might as well be.
ならば仕方
Then I have no choice. With that, Seinen sheathed his sword. Hijikata watched him closely, his own hand near his sword.
今日のところは引き下がりましょう。ですが、私の言ったことも少しは考えておいてください。
I'll leave for now, then, but please consider what I've said.
考えたって同じに決まってる。なんでこいつを切り刻んで血を取ったりしなきゃいけねえんだ。
Sure, but it won't change anything. Why should we cut her open and take her blood?
それに、もし俺が許したって、近藤さんが止めるに決まってるだろ。
Besides, even if I change my mind, Gundam will never let you do it.
まったく、近藤さんも土方君も人事だからそうやって反対ばかり唱えるんでしょう。
It's an easy decision for you and Kanda to make. You don't have the same investment in this.
ですが、もう羅刹は私だけではない。平助にとっても降りかかる問題なのですからね。
Heisuke is a fury now too, though. This will affect him as well.
可愛い仲間のためにも少しは真剣に考えてほしいものです。
So I encourage you to consider what's best for your friends when you make your decision. Those final words cut like a knife, deeper than anything it said before.
一ついいかい。
Can I say something? Hijika's voice was strained, as if he were pulling it up from somewhere deep within his soul.
どうぞ。
Of course!
三男さんの理屈は正しい。それは昔からずっと変わらないさ。
Your reasoning is correct. It always has been.
三男さん。あんた、自分自身が血に飢えてるとか、そんなことじゃねえよな。
But, Senin, tell me you aren't doing this because the bloodless is taking your mind.
自分が血を口にするために、その正しい孤理屈を並べ立ててるって、そんなくだらねえ話じゃ。
Tell me that some sick desire to taste your blood isn't what's driving you to this. Can I trust you?
そんなわけはないでしょう。私は常に新選組のことを考えていますよ。
Of course. My only concern is for the
雪
Shinsengumi.
村君。
Goodbye then, Yukimura. We'll talk again. He smiled and ducked out of the room. Only after I'd heard his footsteps fade away down the hall did I begin to breathe again.
大丈夫か？
You okay? I saw him relax, almost imperceptibly, as he turned to look at me, the bowstring tight tension of a moment before it was gone. Or at least was mostly gone.
悪かったな。
Sorry about that. No, thank you for helping me.
礼を言われるようなことじゃない。
Nothing to thank me for. But There was something I wanted to say to him, a question that had been on my mind for a while. For a moment I thought perhaps now was the time to ask, but no, I shut my mouth.
なんだ
What? Perhaps I was simply afraid of what his answer would be. Perhaps after hearing my question, he'd no longer allow me to stay with the Shinsengumi. No, I couldn't stay with them forever. Nothing good would come of avoiding the issue. Best to simply face it. Still, I was afraid to
俺も
ask.
そんなに暇じゃないんだ話があるならさっさとしろ
I don't have all day. If you have something to say, say it. I had already drawn his attention, and apparently his ire. There was no point to backing out now. Why do you keep protecting me like this?
お前は話を聞いていなかったのか
Weren't you listening?
俺は別にお前を守ったわけじゃない大気を三男さんに守らせただけだ
That wasn't about you. It was about Senin in the good.
大体三男さんだってお前を殺そうとはしてなかったんだろうが
Besides, it's not like he was actually going to try and kill you. At worst, I saved you from a squitch. No, I don't mean just now. I mean all the other times. When Kazuma attacked us, everyone in the Shinsengumi put their lives on the line for me. All he wanted was me. You could have just given me up and he would have left you alone.
あいつらは薩長の一味だ敵が来たら戦って倒すのは当たり前のことだろう
Kazuma
が
works for
戦
our
いに
enemies.
命をかけることもな
That makes them our enemy. What sort of warrior doesn't fight his enemies? I had to admit, that did seem reasonable.
それにお前は光道さんの娘だからな光道さんを探し出すのにお前は必要だそんなこと最初から知っていただろう
Besides, you're Kondo's kid. If we want to find him, we need you. Didn't we talk about this when you got here? Yes, but that was a long time ago. Things have changed. I don't think finding my father's going to be enough to resolve this situation anymore.
お前のことを守ると言って預かったんだ守らねえでどうする
Look, we said we'd protect you, so we will.
武士に二言はね状況が変わったからって初めの話をコロコロ覆すようなやつは武士じゃねえんだ
A samurai doesn't go back on his word. A man who breaks the promise just because something changed isn't a man. Even I knew that he was only using my father as an excuse, but I had a feeling that if I pointed that out directly, he'd get angry. Still, that he wanted to make excuses like this and let me stay and keep me safe could only mean that Hijikata and the Shinsengumi had finally accepted me. After 3 years, way to go, MC. That thought was like a ray of light, pushing away the doubt I'd felt only moments before. But I need to be careful not to get carried away.
おい黙り込んでどうした
Alright, why did you go so quiet? If they had accepted me, then I wanted to help. I wanted to do something. Then again, what could I possibly do? I couldn't fight. I didn't have any special knowledge, aside from a little second-hand medicine. I was more of a burden than an asset, if I was honest with myself. What was I gonna do? And then, alright, let's pull out those dice again. Yeah, let's get over there. Let's pull those out. Alright, here we go. Even top, odd bottom. Whoa, didn't actually officially roll it. I was like, no. There we go. Got a 6. Wow, don't get the 6 too often. I want to help.
なんだまだあるのか
What? Is there something else? I want to help. If there's anything at all I can do.
手伝いだと
Help? Oh no, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. He didn't look very happy. Because, was he really mad? I was starting to very much regret speaking up, so much so that I began to wish Senin would come back just to give Hijikata someone else to glare at. No, that would have been bad too. But what was I gonna do, give up? No, I've come too far. If I back down, then nothing would change. I couldn't be one of them if I just let them protect me all the time. Please, I just want to be useful. I'll do anything. The silence stretched out so long, I thought I was gonna scream.
大使が行くよりは目立たね
I suppose you'd be more discreet than one of our boys. He spoke to himself, barely loud enough for me to hear. Hijikata?
えな筆と紙だ
Brush and paper. Huh?
筆と紙を持ってこい。お前の部屋にはそんなものもねえのか。早くしろ。
Bring me a brush and some paper. You do have that in here, don't you? Hurry. Yes, right away. I scrambled across the room, grabbed a brush and paper, and handed them to Hijikata. He took them silently, still scowling, and quickly began to draw. A map? What is it? What is that? He ignored me and continued drawing.
斎藤が三浦健吾で天満屋に詰めてるのは知ってるな。
You know Saito is at Tenmagardi Mura, right? Yes?
あいつに渡してほしいものがある。届けてきてくれ。
I want you to take him something. Will you do that? Do you think I can?
大使が言ったら目立って仕方ないからな。
Yes, one of our boys would stand out too much.
お前出ないとダメなんだ。任せて大丈夫だな。
You're the best option I've got right now. Can I trust you with this? Yes, of course. Sir? I was thrilled to help, of course, but I was even more ecstatic to be given a task specifically suited to me.
地図は書いてやった。これを見ていけば迷子にはならんだろう。
There, I drew you a map. Keep to this and you shouldn't get lost. Right, thank you. The map was pretty straightforward, but I still barely knew my way around Kyoto. Without it, I would have likely gotten lost. Alright, I'm going. I turned to leave, and only a concerted effort kept me from skipping towards the door.
おいバカ、手ぶらで行ってどうするんだよ。
Hold on, genius. Hard to deliver a message if you don't have one. Oh.
そんなに浮かれた様子じゃ心配になるな。本当に大丈夫か？
You're making me nervous, kid. You sure you can do this? Yes, of course. I'll do a great job.
これが斎藤に渡す書状だ。浮かれて落としたりするなよ。
Here's a letter for Saito. Make sure you don't drop it or lose it somehow. Yes, I'll be very careful. Is there anything you want me to tell him?
必要なことは全部書状に書いてある。
Everything I have to say is in that letter. Understood. Then I'm off. This time, I wasn't able to fully subdue the urge to skip. And there she goes.
おい、山崎、島田。
Hey, Yamazaki, Shimoda.
はい。
Yes, sir.
お呼びですか？
Did you call?
今彼女を斎藤のところへ使いにやった。気取られないようについていって何かあったら守ってやる。
I sent Inata to take Saito a letter. Keep an eye on her. Don't let her see you. If anything happens, make sure she's okay.
了解しました。
Understood.
ただ三浦の絡みでサッチョやら土佐やらの獅子連中と切り合いになっちまうくらいのことならいいんだが。
Hopefully, if something does happen, it'll be some idiots trying to get to Mura or something.
あいつは厄介なのに狙われている。鬼に襲われるようなことがあったら一目散に連れて帰ってこい。
There's some pretty dangerous guys after her, though if demons show up, just get back here immediately.
担いででもいいから三人揃って帰ってこいよ。
I don't care if you have to carry your back like a sack of rice. Just make sure all three of you come back.
承知しました。では、行ってまいります。
We're off. Yeah, get going. Well, looks like our main character is finally trying to do something for once. Actually, she has kind of done a couple things throughout the story, but very little really, thinking of how important she's supposed to be, you know. So, man. Anyway, in the next episode, Hakuōki, Stories of the Shinsengumi, what'll Saito have to say to us? What's in the letter? And will the demons attack us while I'm out gallivanting and getting all happy about actually getting to do something in the story? We'll find out next time. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.